right, this is Late Night. We hope you're doing well. And now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news. In a new interview, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said that President Trump has the worst diet of anyone in the administration and added, quote, "I don't know how he's alive." I hear ya. There have been times where I don't even know if he's alive. While touring a Ford factory yesterday in Michigan, President Trump appeared to raise his middle finger and mouth you to a worker who called him a, quote, pedophile protector. To be fair, he didn't do a very good job protecting this one. That's right, President Trump gave a heckler the middle finger and appeared to mouth you to the man. Wow, I've never seen him be so crude and disrespectful. You're to a man. The USDA tweeted a picture of President Trump this week with a milk mustache, and the tweet said, "Drink up, America." That's right, kids. Drink your milk so you can grow up big and angry? This is supposed to make you want milk? It looks like he forgot to check the sell-by date. President Trump canceled plans yesterday to meet with Iranian officials, and as someone who loves canceling plans, I'm going to have to give him a pass on this one. You just got your Tuesday night back. There's a new season of The Traitors. Most relatable thing he's done in 10 years. President Trump is set to meet tomorrow with Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. Well, she might want to leave her Nobel Peace Prize at home. That would be like bringing the ring to your meeting with Gollum. When asked in a new interview about high grocery prices, President Trump said, quote, "I've only been here for 11 months, okay? Well, that's like a while. Pretty sure you wouldn't give leeway to a waiter who said, sorry, it's my 340th day. Former President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton refused to testify yesterday in the House Oversight Committee's investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. "I have nothing to hide about my relationship with Epstein," said Hillary only. In a video posted this week on social media, former New York Mayor Eric Adams appeared to get into an altercation with another passenger while disembarking a plane and said, quote, "You're gonna see the Brooklyn in me." Ooh, what are you gonna do? Sell him a $9 coffee? While speaking to SpaceX staffers this week, Elon Musk said that he wants to create, quote, "epic futuristic spaceships with lots of people in them, traveling to places we've never been to before," which for him means, I'm guessing, prom? And finally, the frozen foods brand Ore-Ida today released a limited edition line of skis designed to look like French fries. Now, you and your health can both go downhill. And that was a monologue, everybody. We're off and running. We got a great show for you tonight. You know him from Schmigadoon, The Good Wife, and Cabaret on Broadway. He's back as the host of The Traitors, now in its 4th season with new episodes available Thursdays on Peacock. Our friend Alan Cumming is back on the show. She's a talented actress you know from shows such as Heroes and Pitch, as well as movies like Legally Blonde and the Resident Evil franchise. Check her out on the season finale of Landman, which streams this Sunday, January 18th on Paramount+. Allie Larder will also be joining us, everybody. Check out Family Trips, Phoebe Robinson this week. She was wonderful. You guys, moving on. A majority of Americans disapprove of ICE and its tactics, but the Trump administration is doubling down on its presence in Minnesota. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. We keep going back to this, but I think it's worth remembering this. This is how Donald Trump sold his mass deportation program to voters during the campaign.
We're going to start with violent criminals. We have to get all of these criminals, these murderers and drug dealers and everything. We're getting them out. And we got to get the criminals out first. We're going to get the criminals, the murderers, the drug dealers.
We're going to get the criminals out, but don't worry, we're also going to bring new criminals in. We're calling it the Trump Criminal Exchange Program. You get one of ours, we get one of yours. By the way, there are other types of criminals besides murderers and drug dealers. I mean, what about fraudsters and financial criminals? No? Better yet, what about people who don't pick up after their dog? If you ask me, those people should be deported to Siberia. It's an epidemic here in New York. There's dog everywhere. If your dog on the sidewalk and you don't have a bag, you should be forced to carry it home in your hands. Or how about this? If you don't have a bag, you leave a note with your address so the city can pick it up with a little shovel and mail it to you, and then Honey, you got a letter from the city. Is it jury duty? I wish. It is duty. The point is, if you say you're going to get violent criminals off the streets, of course, people are going to be into that. But that was a lie. It would have been much less popular if Trump had announced his plan was to hire an army of out-of-shape uncles to hang around Target and aggressively ask people where they were born. And that's what's really happening. Instead of deporting violent criminals like Trump promised, we just keep getting this.
Roosevelt High School students speaking out after they tell our news team ICE agents were there yesterday. A student telling our news team ICE agents arrived at Roosevelt High yesterday afternoon and blocked part of the road and chased people near the entrance. We're told some students were pepper sprayed during the incident. The student tells us someone was tackled by federal agents.
ICE is making arrests in Minnesota right next to shoppers grabbing groceries. Tense encounters like these are happening at private businesses.
Target appears to be a possible target for immigration enforcement in Minnesota. It's one of several businesses where ICE agents have arrested people, including staff, from the parking lot to the inside of the store.
Why the hell is ICE spending time at Target? What's next? Are they going to deport the Target dog? She's a bull terrier. Bull terriers are from England. Go back to drinking tea and crumpets, you limey wanker. I'm sorry. I'm just still so mad about the dog. Shouldn't be taking it out on her. By the way, to accomplish all of this, ICE has had to hire a lot more people as quickly as possible, which means lowering their recruitment standards. And even still, new recruits are struggling to meet those lower standards.
President Donald Trump's plan to double the size of the ICE workforce has met a foe more powerful than any activist group. It is decimating new recruits at the agency's training academy in Georgia. It is the ICE personal fitness test.
According to The Atlantic, more than a third of new recruits are failing basic fitness tests, push-ups, sit-ups, even a short run, with senior ICE officials using words like pathetic and disaster to describe the process.
Well, you know it's bad when even your own bosses are calling you pathetic and a disaster. And also, that feels a little unfair. I mean, show me one video that proves ICE agents aren't in peak physical condition. Wow, and ICE agent slipped on the ice. You know where he landed? On the nose. All right, so maybe they're not crushing the physical side of the job. Surely they're making up for it with their wits, right? Right? They're making up for it with their wits?
Some exclusive new reporting here from NBC News reveals Immigration and Customs Enforcement has placed new recruits into training before being fully vetted as part of the hiring surge to meet President Trump's mass deportation goals. As a result, ICE officials later discovered that some recruits had criminal backgrounds, failed drug tests, or they didn't meet physical or academic standards.
Nearly half of recruits failed the written exam, even with access to notes and textbooks.
Recent reporting suggests these new lower hiring standards have resulted in ICE recruits who have barely been able to read or write.
Okay, so maybe when they're screaming, "Do you speak English?" at innocent people, they're just looking for a tutor. Habla inglés. Oh, you do? Great. How do you spell there when you mean belonging to someone? Also, how the do you fail an open book test? Of course, these jabronis probably think the words open book test means it's a test to see if you can open a book. Hey, what do you mean I failed? I opened that mother right up. Oh, don't tell me you gotta close it too. No one knows how to do that. So the Trump administration is flooding American cities with an army of untrained, out-of-shape ICE agents to wreak havoc in schools, neighborhoods, and grocery stores, which is why it's no surprise that Americans really don't like what they're seeing.
52% of Americans disapprove of ICE and think that it's going too far.
YouGov finds that Americans think ICE actually makes Americans less safe, not more safe, by a 13-point margin. And Quinnipiac finds that voters disapprove of the way ICE is enforcing immigration laws by a 17-point margin.
Approval of Kristi Noem's ICE itself has plummeted 30 percentage points since she took control. More than half of Americans, 54%, say ICE's tactics are too extreme, and only about 25% support the tactics.
This is a true thing I'm about to tell you. More Americans believe in ghosts than support the tactics of ICE. Only about 25% support ICE's tactics, while 38% believe in ghosts. And I'm one of them. I mean, ghosts are everywhere. There's even one in the White House. It's genuinely difficult to find anything in American public life that's as unpopular as ICE. I mean, even that live-action Cats movie has a higher rating on the Rotten Tomatoes popcorn meter, although it probably has something to do with the fact that Idris Elba was in that movie and played a sexy cat. I mean, look at that. When I first saw this, I felt all kinds of feelings I'd never felt before. I had to ask myself some very uncomfortable questions, like, am I attracted to the cat version of Idris Elba, or am I just that mad at dogs? I know this much, that guy would never poop on the sidewalk. The point is, ICE is wildly unpopular, and their conduct is also causing a crisis within the Justice Department, with 6 officials resigning in protest. You would think, as president, Trump would want to calm the nation. Instead, he took time out of a speech on Tuesday to do this.
Isn't it nice to have a president that can go off teleprompter? Remember the speeches Joe would make? First of all, they'd last a matter of seconds, you know. Thank you very much. You ever notice Joe would always cough before a speech? State of the Union, he gets,
That's not what a cough sounds like. You sound like an ICE agent trying to do a sit-up, or maybe just one taking an open book test. Also, I love that speech we just showed a clip from was Trump saying Biden gave speeches. I mean, at least Biden wasn't doing sound effects. Meanwhile, that seems like all you're doing these days.
Bing, boom, bang, pshin, boom. Yeah.
At this point, you're just making sounds that we all make after watching you every day. The polls are clear. Most Americans do not want armed agents wreaking havoc in their schools, neighborhoods, and grocery stores, especially when those armed agents are not even qualified for the job. They're out there, they're tripping, they're falling, they make it sounds like this. This has been A Closer Look.